Today I'm in a county that was once home to some of the most powerful ancient Britons, and where they established 2,000 years ago a ritual that has recently been re-established. And what am I doing inside this towering fellow? Well, find out in just a moment on Escape to the Country. Put those matches down. On today's show, I'll be helping a couple find their perfect home in the country. We'll be opening the door into a whole new man's world. Welcome to Tony's land. Does it seal the deal?
So when do we move?
And I'll be trying to enchant them with our mystery house. Today we're in Hampshire, which was once home to one of the most powerful and influential Celtic tribes, the Atrebates. But today is home to this fantastic wicker man who's going to be burnt to celebrate the ancient pagan festival of Beltane. Now, originally this was a fertility ritual to guarantee the new crops, but it's been recently revived by neo-pagans and archaeologists. But it's not the only thing about this amazing county to spark your interest. Hampshire is a solid bet for seeking out unspoilt countryside, with the likes of Dorset and Wiltshire amongst its neighbours, and around a third of the county encompassed by two of Britain's newest national parks, the New Forest and the South Downs. With its border also spanning the Solent coastline, it harbours an historic link to the sea, stretching back before Nelson's Trafalgar victory. The walls of the Roman fort Porchester Castle are some of the best preserved in Europe. Hampshire also made up part of the Saxon kingdom of Wessex, with King Alfred making the county town of Winchester his royal seat. Indeed, Hampshire is home to some majestic properties, from fine Georgian detached houses to beautiful thatched cottages, providing a rich mix of rural retreats to choose from. Hampshire has the wilderness of the New Forest and a coastline studded with marinas, but it also has excellent links up to London, which probably explains why a detached house here costs 20% more than the national average. However, there are little pockets of price difference. For example, the M3 corridor in the east of the county, a detached house there is about £79,000 more expensive than those on the west with the borders of Dorset. However, wherever you are and whatever price, the properties are beautiful. If you have £1.5 million at your disposal, you could splash out on this handsome 4-bedroom property in Ringwood, with spacious, comfortable reception rooms and a sleek kitchen diner extension. The 1-acre grounds house a pool, and it's exclusively located within the New Forest National Park. If you fancy some colour in your life, how about this pretty pink Georgian house in the wonderfully named village of Overwallop? For £650,000, you'll get 3 reception rooms, country kitchen, 4 bedrooms and a low-maintenance garden to relax in. On the market at £350,000, this 2-bedroom lodge in North Warnborough takes on a surprising form for a new build, with its octagonal glass-roofed living room, and it has a light, airy feel throughout the second reception room and contemporary kitchen. You see, Hampshire has enough property to fire up the enthusiasm of any buyer, and our couple this week certainly know all about fires. Recently retired fireman Tony and his wife Rosemary moved to their 3-bedroom house in Pinner, Middlesex from the country 14 years ago, which was all part of their long-term vision.
The plan always was to move into London, let me finish my fire service career, and then move out of London. Since I retired fully in June last year, that's really the catalyst for it.
Our main reason for moving to the country is we both absolutely adore walking. Whenever we go anywhere, we always take our walking boots and our walking poles, and we just disappear somewhere, anywhere for the day with our backpacks on our back and just take in the environment, everything that's going on, the peace, the quiet.
And to have a view, to have open skies, to be able to see the stars at night and breathe fresh air would be lovely.
Yeah.
Now they're free from work ties, where do they see themselves living?
The area we'd like to move to is Hampshire. It's a very beautiful county, and to be able to live down there would be lovely. Also to be close to our sons. One son is in Dorset.
Also, we'll be closer to my family in Devon and Cornwall, and still fairly close to your family in sort of Newbury, Berkshire area. And so we'll be able to visit them, and hopefully they'll all be able to come and visit us.
What kind of country property is going to light their fire?
We would definitely want a warm, airy house.
Lovely kitchen. If I could have a double range, that would be my absolute dream. When people come to stay, it would be really useful to have more space. I definitely want 3 bedrooms.
And they both need room for their own pursuits.
This is the room that I do my sewing in. In our next property, I would love a much bigger room. A purpose room for my sewing would be fantastic.
Well, as you can see, this is my workshop at the moment. Not much space. I can do a little bit of sanding and a bit of drilling, but that's about it. I really need a bigger workshop.
They currently have a generous garden subdivided into 2 sections, but it's not enough for Rosemary's ambition.
With our next property, I would love a big productive garden. I'm desperate to grow far more vegetables than I do at the moment.
It seems like an achievable wish list, but what will start the alarm bells ringing?
I think the biggest no-no for me, although they're very pretty, is a thatch property. I'm not over keen on beams or very low ceilings and anything that you feel heavy and dark.
As they're thinking about putting their house on the market, we've asked a local estate agent to come and value their property.
This property is in an excellent residential location with good local schooling nearby. In my opinion, this property is worth £500,000.
So with that in mind, how much do they have to spend?
Our budget for the next property is up to £550,000.
So our couple today are looking for a bright and airy property here in Hampshire. Rosemary wants a great big challenging garden project, and Tony will be happy with a great big workshop. Now they've got £550,000 to spend, which is a healthy budget even here in Hampshire. But what really excites me about this is helping this couple who've lived in suburbia for 14 years escape back to the country. As Tony and Rosemary have family in the southwest, it makes sense to base our property search in rural spots around West Hampshire. I'll be showing them a real assortment of houses which they will have to guess the price of before I reveal it to them. And finally, I'll be going on a charm offensive with our mystery property. Welcome to Hampshire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the countryside, because it was, what, 14 years ago you left the country?
Yes, it was. Yeah, we moved into London for my career and left, well, Berkshire. We were living on the outskirts of Reading.
You've decided to sell your house, is that right?
Yes, our house went on the market last week, so
Yes.
we've started the ball rolling.
Does that mean we have a little bit more money to play with?
Yes, we said originally 550. We'd now like to extend that to about 600, but that's the top end.
600?
Yeah.
OK.
And that's got to be perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect,
Right.
yes.
Gosh, the pressure's on then.
I know.
So, now, in terms of the house, you're a massively keen gardener, I know.
Very,
It's
very
the
keen.
garden's important, but land is expensive in Hampshire. You haven't chosen the cheapest county, although it is very beautiful, as you can see. How big are we talking? Are we talking acres? Or...
An acre would be probably manageable without being too much.
And you want a workshop?
I do, yes. Yeah, so somewhere either in the garden or even if it's, you know, the garage or something like that, then that's important.
Well, the house is not going to find itself, so we should hit the Hampshire road.
Lovely.
Lovely, look forward to it.
With a top budget of £600,000, Tony and Rosemary want their dream house in the country to include light, airy reception rooms, a large kitchen diner, 3 bedrooms to accommodate their sons, a workshop and sewing room for their respective hobbies, and a 1-acre garden with space for Rosemary's large vegetable plot. What do you remember most about when you lived in the countryside? What is it that you've missed all these years in London?
Big skies.
Big skies. I've really missed my big garden. It's very quiet, very rural, and you could hear the birds singing. So, yeah, I think that's probably what I've missed more than anything.
We're starting our house search in the village of North Borehunt, a quiet rural location, but only a couple of miles away from the pretty market town of Wickham, with an array of independent shops and lovely Georgian buildings gracing its streets. And we're making a grand entrance with our first house. So step on into the drive.
Gosh.
This is pretty. I think it looks lovely. I love the front door.
It is wide.
It was originally 2 little cottages, this right-hand 2/3 is the original building, and then this is an 80s extension. Although you'd never guess.
Well, I'm going to
That's
say,
fitted in very well, hasn't it?
Should we look inside?
Love
Yes.
to.
From its humble late 19th century origins, this property has been transformed into a very large house, which I think will surprise them. Come on in. Let's go straight in here, actually. This is the front sitting room.
This is nice.
Oh, real fire.
That's lovely.
So this is actually in the newer part of the house.
It's quite a nice size.
Possibly a bit smaller than what we've
Yes.
got, but that doesn't mean to say it's not big enough.
Is it your style?
No.
No, but you can see it's a very easy room to change the way you would want it.
You might spend more of your time through here. Down the hallway brings us to the L-shaped kitchen diner.
It's a nice room. It's nice and long, isn't it?
What do you think? Can you imagine yourself using this space?
I can see,
It's a useful space.
yes, entertaining,
Yes.
dining.
But you want to see the kitchen, don't you, really?
Yes, please. Oh, this is a nice space. Nice and light.
It really works, this L-shaped
And is that
space.
a double range?
Double range. So it's oil central
Lovely.
heating here, as it often is in the country.
Right.
That's a gas bottle that fires
Right.
the range. So this is the main room downstairs. What do you think?
It's more open plan than I think we're used to.
But it looks lovely. It looks very nice.
If it's separate rooms they're after, this house has them too. You've also got this big, sizable room, which is being used as a study at the moment.
Definitely.
You would love this as a study,
Definitely,
wouldn't
yeah.
you? Look at all those
I'm
bookshelves.
just looking at those. I could fill those quite easily.
You'd be in
Might
your
have to-
element, wouldn't you?
Sewing room,
Yes.
quite light for that.
It is a lovely light room.
What's great about this is that you've got this space here, which takes you outside, where we're going in a minute, but you've also got a big utility room and a downstairs loo in this kind of extension. at
Oh,
the back.
right.
So that's where all your
Very
washing and
nice.
everything is done.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's actually quite a big property. So far, this house seems to be delivering. Let's see if the upstairs space measures up. The TARDIS-like qualities of this house continue upstairs because there are 5 bedrooms. 3 of the rooms are doubles, 2 large enough to have a desk in, so their 2 sons won't have to fight over where they're sleeping when they stay. There's also a single, currently used as a dressing room, and a separate family bathroom. Not that Rosemary and Tony would use it, as they have a suite all to themselves. This is the master.
Nice
It's a
size.
nice room, isn't it?
Yeah, nice size.
It is a nice size.
Lovely deep sort of window so that you can sit and look over the amazing view.
Certainly a lovely view out the front. Yeah, lovely.
And
It is.
it's got a spectacular ensuite. It's a double shower.
Right.
Oh, the shower's nice. It's a lovely bathroom. It's perfect to have next to the bedroom. I love the fact that there's the shower here.
It's a very big ensuite.
Yes.
And the rooms keep on unfolding up in the attic space, which could be a perfect fit for Rosemary's sewing room. The beauty of this house is its considerable size and the fact they can tailor these flexible living spaces to suit their own requirements. And there's yet another room to explore outside, which I hope will thrill Tony. Ta-da!
The workshop.
Ah.
The workshop.
Ready and waiting. Is it big enough?
I have to try and visualise an empty room.
Compared to what we have at the moment,
Compared
it's
to what
wider.
I've got, it's lovely. You know, 100% improvement.
Outside, the garden is a decent size with more than enough room for veggies, but will it be enough for Rosemary?
At the moment, I can't see it. But maybe that's something you actually have to live with and grow.
Yeah.
And grow your vegetables.
The thing about this garden,
Yes.
I think, is that it's clearly not, it's not a gardener's garden, but you've got a huge patio area here which you could landscape. You've got all of this which is not touched at all. You've got very pretty views over a paddock
The views are beautiful.
with horses.
That's lovely.
2 potting sheds, one here and one here. This would be something that you could put your mark on. The thing about Hampshire is that there is a premium on land, so
Right,
that's always
yes.
going to be a bit of an issue. So, I mean, it comes down in a way to finances. So, how much do you think this property costs?
About 535,000.
Said with great conviction.
I tend to go a bit more than that. I reckon 550.
OK, so this might be a bit of a shock, but this is on the market for 595.
Right.
It's been on the market for 12 days and it's already had 8 viewings.
Yeah.
It's a very desirable property. Lots of people are interested. So that's something to bear in mind.
Right.
Right.
Well, anyway, you
Yes.
have a walk round and think about that. When you're done, we'll recollect ourselves out the front and then we'll push on.
Lovely.
Okay, lovely.
thank you.
Thank
There
you.
you go. Oh, it's always heartbreaking when you say that something's that much more expensive, but unfortunately Hampshire is an expensive county, and if you want that huge vegetable garden, then something's got to give. Maybe the house has to be a little bit smaller. The property is under budget at £595,000 and it offers them large flexible reception areas, a generous kitchen diner with Rosemary's range cooker, 5 bedrooms, a large workshop for Tony, and a garden with good terrain for Rosemary to grow her own.
The rooms, I think they've got potential. With regard to the workshop space, certainly compared to what I've got now, it's considerable improvement.
The patio area's nice. I can see you doing some of your brickwork.
Yes.
Changing the walls there.
Yeah. And nice and sunny.
Yes.
Obviously getting a good lot of the sun throughout the day.
The price of the property did hit me like a ton of bricks. I was quite surprised. There's a lot of room, there's a lot of space, and possibly I just hadn't appreciated how much the prices in Hampshire are.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, smiling, that's good.
Yes.
Not too disheartened.
No, definitely not.
Come on, let's go. Along with stunning rural landscape, Hampshire's heritage also looks to the sea. Its strong naval connections and fishing trade brought prosperity to many of its coastal towns, of which Emsworth is a prime example. Earlier in the week, Tony and Rosemary met John Tweddle, Vice Chairman of the Emsworth Maritime and Historical Trust, to find out more.
So Emsworth was very much a town of 2 parts. You had the working town where the fishermen lived, that's in South Street, and you had the posh part. Now, the Royal Navy at Portsmouth is not far away, about 7 miles. And so often admirals, when they retired, came out of Portsmouth and got to the first nice place and settled down.
From the 18th century, Emsworth's economy flourished because of milling, providing the Navy with flour and biscuits during the Napoleonic Wars. And from this time, another local delicacy was being harvested from its waters.
So here we are in the heart of Emsworth, the town quay, and this is really where Emsworth grew up, the fishing and oyster dredging industries. In 1788, about £1,500 worth of oysters were brought ashore. In modern day money, about £150,000, but by the middle of the 19th century, 9 million oysters a year were coming out of Emsworth.
By 1878, Emsworth's oyster fishing fleet was made up of some 50 vessels. And this restored boat, named Terror, is a living reminder of how trade boomed under the Victorians. However, the industry sank suddenly at the turn of the century, and Emsworth's oysters were struck off the menu.
Alas, on a fateful day in 1902, at a mayoral banquet in Winchester, a number of people were taken ill with typhoid. 3 of them died, including the Dean of Winchester.
Oh, dear.
Straight away, being an important man, there was an inquiry. The blame was put on Emsworth oysters, and the industry was closed down. So overnight, half of the population of Emsworth, that's the people in the boat building yards, the oyster fleet itself, lost their jobs. And suddenly the whole oyster fleet was left to rot in the mud.
The tide may have turned against the fortunes of Emsworth, but today it remains a wonderful example of a fishing port that cultivated a grand reputation far beyond its modest size. We continue our property search in the attractive village of Hawkley, with its own pub and a mock Norman church built in Victorian times. There is a range of period properties scattered about, and on the outskirts of the village is where we find this house, originally a stone barn with definite green-fingered potential for Rosemary.
Wow.
Come on in.
This looks pretty.
Oh, this looks interesting.
Oh,
Rosemary,
yes.
you see what the theme of this one might be?
The garden looks
Talking garden.
beautiful.
I think this has got lots to offer you. What do you think from the outside?
I think it looks lovely.
I like the brick.
Yes.
I do like the brick.
Should we go?
Yes.
Love to.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That sounds like a positive first impression for the garden and the house, which was converted into a dwelling in the 1950s and extended in the 1980s, with a light interior that I hope they'll warm to. Let's go straight into the sitting room.
Oh, and not too many beams.
No, this is
lovely.
This is the oldest part. This was the original stone binding, and everything else is built around it. So these are sort of a token nod towards the old barn. Everything else, as you can see, has been beautifully updated. This house is not as big as the last house.
Okay.
Let's have a look at the kitchen.
Lovely.
This is your realm, Rosemary.
This is a lovely kitchen. Beautiful country-style kitchen. I'm just thinking dining table.
Well, as you can see, it goes through there into the conservatory, which we'll look in later.
Okay.
Which would make, I think, a wonderful dining area. But there is planning permission at the moment, for the next 3 years, to extend out here, actually where that, that bit of the wall is, all the way out, all the way back to here. So to take out into a sort of garden room to the side. If you felt this was just too small, that, I think, would make it a tremendous addition to the house.
I don't think it's too small.
And, as I mentioned, it flows beautifully out into the conservatory. Now, this, I think, is a lovely space that's not really utilised. I mean, the present owner has it as a sort of sitting room.
But it's a lovely sun trap.
Yeah, absolutely.
This probably might be what we're looking for to extend the kitchen a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, be able to dine out here as well.
Yeah. Aha! Rosemary seems to be putting on her creative remodelling hat, which is a good sign. This converted barn is all on one level, with all 3 bedrooms leading off the long hallway. One is currently set up as a study with doors leading out to the garden. And there's a light, bright twin room, so enough space for their sons to stay over. Next door, there's an impressive family bathroom.
This is magnificent.
It is, isn't it?
Look at that
What
shower.
I was just going to say, what a fantastic shower.
It's a shower-armour. And let's have a little peek then in your master bedroom, which is right next door.
Wow.
And here's the master bedroom.
It's a nice
All
size.
right.
I like the built-in cupboards.
A lot of storage.
Nice view when you're laying in the bed.
Right. That leads us nicely out into the garden.
Oh,
Yippee.
let's go and have a look at the garden.
You need.
Thank you.
Although this house isn't huge, there's certainly enough space to accommodate the 2 of them and visiting guests very comfortably, with minimum upkeep. But it's the garden that will be make or break for Rosemary. Step out into the garden. Wow. Now, this might take you a bit of a while to get your eyes used to all this, because it's a quite complicated garden. It's not your usual flat, long, suburban garden.
It certainly isn't. I'm just concerned about the steep drop there.
It's a quarry. It's the quarry from which the building was built.
Is it really?
So your house is built from your garden.
Fascinating. I think I'm just thinking health and safety, that's all. I'm being a bit paranoid, I suppose.
Well, there is this fence all the way around.
Yes.
So it's quite... I imagine people have thought of that before.
Yes, but it's certainly a magnificent garden.
This 3/4 of an acre terraced garden is unusual, but the quirky landscaped zones really enhance the setting of the house. But let's lift the lid on what could be Tony's secret world. Okay, so Tony, this is your land. You ready for this?
I am. Oh, wow.
You've got to buy the house now, right? Oh. Welcome to Tony's land.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it gets better and better as we
Oh,
get inside.
yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Yes. OK, so when do we move?
You may not like the garden, Rosemary, but unfortunately...
The workshop is lovely.
Oh, it is, yeah.
The workshop is a dream come true for Tony, but can Rosemary see potential for the garden? Let's go up onto higher ground to survey all that could be theirs. So up here you don't quite get a view of the whole garden from anywhere because it's all wrapped around the house, but you certainly get different aspects.
It's particularly beautiful. The view is gorgeous.
So what do you think this property is worth?
I'm going to go for 525,000.
I'm going to stick with 550.
Well, again, you're both being optimistic. This is on for 589.
All right.
Still quite high in your budget.
Yeah.
It is,
Because of the location and the nature of the property. It's expensive.
Yes.
So
We go again.
again, have a wander around, because I know this one there's probably more to talk about, and to explore the garden. If you head up there.
Lovely.
Okay,
Don't
thank
fall
you.
down into the quarry.
No.
Gosh, no, I think that 525 was definitely a vote of no confidence in the garden, because this is a beautiful property, and I think this is a stunning garden. But it's really interesting because Rosemary has it in her head what she wants, and it doesn't matter how beautiful it looks. If it's not what she wants, she doesn't want the house. That could be a real bone of contention when you're looking at the market as it is today. However, coming in £11,000 under budget at £589,000, this converted barn features a bright kitchen diner with planning consent to be extended, 3 bedrooms, a superb workshop hideaway for Tony, and 3/4 of an acre of garden in an idyllic rural setting. The workshop scores highly, but is the garden a challenge too far?
It's got a beautiful feel to it. Although it is remote, it doesn't have a remote feeling somehow. The garden is gorgeous, but I just have this concern of this drop here.
Yeah. And the
Just feel-
practicalities of looking after it all and those
That's
kind of
right, yes.
things. In respect to the workshop, oh well, I fell in love with that straight away. I can see it being a fantastic workshop. Incredible. Yeah, superb. Really pleased with that.
All done?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
yes.
Lots to think about, eh?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Good. Let's go and rest and recuperate. As dusk draws in over the south coast, it marks the end of the first day of our property search. Tony and Rosemary are poised to find a Hampshire country home with his dream workshop and her Garden of Eden. They've been very enthusiastic so far, but shocked by what they can actually get for their £600,000 budget.
The price of the property did hit me like a ton of bricks.
Coming up, Tony's building a nest with a difference in our mystery house.
I can see boot room with a shower. I can see all sorts of things happening to this house.
You're taking this to another level. Boot room with a shower. And I take a tour of a thatched cottage in the prehistoric style. This house hunting in Hampshire is proving slightly tricky, not least because it's an expensive county, and what Tony and Rosemary want is difficult to find, particularly the garden, because Rosemary's vision of her garden is so personal to her that it doesn't really match up to anything that's on the market. So for the mystery house, we're going to take a shot in the dark and show them something that's quintessentially Hampshire and hope that that gets their vote. Day 2 is the mystery house, which, as you know, is always a bit of a curveball. What are you hoping it's not going to be?
You know, a thatched cottage by a stream, right on a main road, next to an airport. You know, I mean,
There's a plane coming. Well, Tony, we can't come to Hampshire and not see thatch. So for our mystery house, we're heading to Monkston, an idyllic country village, and if there's any place to convert them to thatch, it'll be here. What's more, there's a charming local pub. In the heart of the village is our mystery property, but have no fear, fireman Tony, this roof has been treated with a fire retardant, so it won't be going up in smoke. So we don't have a stream, we don't have a main road, but we do have a beautiful thatch.
It does
Right.
look very pretty.
it does.
It
Chocolate
wasn't
box.
on our wish list.
I'd be interested to know, have you ever put out thatch in your years as a fireman?
Yes. Oh, yes. They're hard work.
Once they go up.
Once they go up.
But it has a lot of good press around it, in the sense that it's extremely green. It's extremely good insulation. It's actually self-ventilating. You don't need to ventilate the loft. You have the netting over the top to stop birds actually getting in and weakening the thatch. Insurance-wise, this house actually has negotiated with their insurers that it's the same as any other house.
Oh, right. Oh, that's interesting.
And they've just had a bit repaired, so it does work. Right. That's my sermon about thatch. This 18th century Grade 2 listed cottage has huge curb appeal, But will Rosemary be impressed by what lies behind the garden gate? Now, after the avant-garde garden I showed you yesterday, this is a much more conventional country cottage garden. My question is, though, is it big enough for you?
It does look a bit small, although I can see the fruit trees that I'm after.
There is, I can see the potential for a lawn veg plot.
Yes.
I can see it would divide quite naturally into that sort of split.
Well, we'll come back to the garden, but let's have a look inside. After a glimpse of the garden, let's hope the interior will charm the socks off them. Come straight into the kitchen.
This is cute.
We are into country cottage dimensions here, so it's not massive.
It's...
It's not your vision of a kitchen?
No, it's not. No, I have quite a distinct vision. I do like a lot of work surfaces, although I like an island.
But perhaps with a little more space around it.
Yes, I think that's probably what it is.
Rosemary may have concerns about the size of the kitchen, but I think the room next door will really speak to them. So this is the first property we've shown you that has a properly separate dining room.
Oh, wow.
It's a lovely room.
It is, isn't it?
And I did say I didn't like beams, but
Just the
that
one.
looks quite
You said
authentic.
beams.
I did, didn't I?
It's just one.
Beam.
I can see this being used for a family or a get together, and I can hear the room. It's
Chat
got a
room.
yeah.
For a traditional cottage, it's unexpectedly light. And will they get a warm glow in here? Find the step. Come into the main room, the main sitting room.
This is a nice big room.
Big room, yeah.
Again, I can feel it's a warm room. I can feel it's a room you would relax in.
Yeah, even though this property's not big, it's much more traditional in its distribution of rooms. You know, there's a kitchen, there's a dining room, there's a big, relatively big sitting room. And there's a useful room tucked away at the end of the hallway. Nice downstairs cloakroom there. Before we get upstairs, I wanted to show you this little room. It's not huge, but it has a separate entrance. It's got another back door that takes you out into the back garden. So I was thinking if you had visitors, this might be a nice little room that they could come and stay in without disturbing you.
Lots of potential. I can see study, I can see boot room with a shower, I can see all sorts of things happening to this space.
You're taking this to another level. Boot room with a shower? Oh, forget the guests who can't.
Yes.
That's right. They'll have to bunk down in the front room.
That's a much better idea. Well, happily they don't have to, as there is space for guests upstairs. The house has got 3 bedrooms.
Right.
This is one.
It's, once again, a very sweet room.
A bed and breakfast room.
It is almost like
Yeah.
a bed and breakfast room, yes.
It would work as a guest bedroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the master bedroom. 18 times the size of that. Opposite, there's also a useful smaller bedroom with a family bathroom next door. But let's explore where they would sleep. This is the master bedroom.
This is very sweet. I keep saying sweet.
I'm gonna have
Lots
to-
of beams.
Lots of beams here.
Lots of beams.
It does have these windows pierced through, so you get quite a lot of light.
It's a charming room.
It's a charming room.
Yes.
And what I think is interesting is that through here, they've knocked through into another bedroom. There was a 4th bedroom, turned it into a dressing area and a master
Let's go
ensuite.
have a look.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. I didn't expect this at all.
Well, that's a nice size. So what's in there?
Have a look.
Intriguing.
I'm all intrigued.
Washing machine and tumble dryer.
See, I think that's a very clever arrangement.
Yes. Yeah.
Our mystery cottage on paper is everything they didn't ask for, but it seems to have wooed them with its charm and clever use of space. Outside is the bare bones of a workshop where Tony could make his mark. The last house was a hard act to follow in terms of the workspace.
Yes.
So what we essentially have is a single garage with all this space at the back, and it hasn't been developed.
I can see there would be space if you took that bit down and
Yeah.
did a bit to it. And so again, compared to what I've got now, a much better improvement.
Time to soak up the natural serenity of the garden and ponder on the price. It really is a charming garden, actually. When you come down here, you really get the full charm of it, I think. What do you think this property costs? Because it is a very attractive thatched cottage in a very popular village with a nice garden.
I'm going to go for 580.
I'm going to go slightly lower.
As always.
575,000.
Right. And again, rather shockingly, this is on the market for 599,000.
Right, oh crikey, that's right, yeah.
Have a walk around, and I think it made me think a little bit about Hampshire and Hampshire prices, and just draw some thoughts together, and we'll meet out the front.
OK, thank you.
Thank you.
Priced absolutely at the top of their budget at £599,000, our chocolate box mystery cottage would offer them a kitchen and separate dining room, 3 bedrooms with a master ensuite, a workshop space which Tony could develop, a cottage garden with established fruit trees, all set in a desirable village location. I love their positive approach to our mystery property, but will the workshop and garden give them enough at that price?
We've normally associated thatched properties with dark, dingy, small rooms. And I was very pleasantly surprised with this property, especially the dining room. I could see us enjoying that room. Well, I'm really pleased they've shown us a thatched cottage. Never viewed one before, and I certainly wouldn't discount one in the future.
The rooms were very sweet and quaint, and there were lots of beams everywhere.
Maybe small, but it's a very tranquil garden. Hello.
Hello.
Well, you're finished, the mystery house is over.
Yep.
Yes.
Time to reflect.
OK.
Lovely. Hampshire's landscape still bears the hallmarks of its rich history, from William the Conqueror founding the first royal forest in the 11th century to Winchester being named England's first capital. But on Hampshire's chalk slopes, this ambitious archaeological site has recreated the prehistoric life of Iron Age Britain. I'm meeting Maureen Page from Butser Ancient Farm, who can shed some light on how our ancestors lived 2,000 years ago. So Maureen, talk me through what exactly we're seeing here, because it looks very impressive, but I don't know my Iron Age from my elbow, so...
This is an Iron Age reconstructed site, and the site was set up to test archaeological theories. They're all copies of houses that people really lived in. Until you can actually practically try it out, then you have no real evidence that that was how they could have done it. And what we've done here is choose houses where there's been quite a considerable amount of evidence from the archaeology. We've used that to build these houses.
Among the Iron Age roundhouses here is a reconstruction of one of the largest found in Britain, with a diameter of over 50 feet. Wow, it really is a roundhouse.
It is definitely round.
And how do we know that this is accurate?
From the archaeological evidence. So this house is a copy of a house that was excavated at a place called Little Woodbury, just on the outskirts of Salisbury.
Now, it's interesting because we've got the fire going here and it's quite smoky. There's no chimney, there's no...
No, there's no hole. I hope you can't see any holes up there. We don't believe there were any holes in the roof at all. The smoke will gradually trickle out through the thatch. It's really important because smoke is a preservative. It preserves the roof, it preserves the thatch, but also it stops any insects living in it. And if there aren't any insects living in the roof, then birds won't come along and try and pull the thatch apart to eat those insects. They know it's too smoky, there won't be any insects there.
Life in Iron Age Britain was first documented by the Romans, who not only recorded what the Britons' homes looked like and the farming communities they lived in, but also their religious rituals, including the pagan summer festival of Beltane, with its notorious effigy, described by the most famous Roman of all. Julius Caesar talks about it.
Yes, in his writings, he wrote that Iron Age Britons built big men like this out of sticks and then filled them with people and animals and burnt them alive as a sacrifice to their gods to ensure a good harvest.
Wow, so proper Wicker Man stuff.
Yes, yeah. We don't do the burning people alive.
But is Beltane the big hoolie?
For us here it is, just because the weather is so lovely, and this offers us an opportunity to attract lots of people to the site so they can see what we've been doing.
And burn a big man!
And burn a big man.
Well, the site has certainly fired up my imagination of what it would have been like to live in this very early era of British civilization. Now that Tony and Rosemary's property search is at an end, they have a moment to reflect on what we've shown them. It'll be interesting to see whether our thatched mystery house experiment paid dividends. Let's go find out. Now, so it's been a couple of powerful days in Hampshire. So if you can spin back your mind to the very first property we looked at, what were your thoughts about that now?
Very, very pretty. Inside there was a lot of space.
Quite versatile as well, wasn't
Very
it?
versatile. The garden for me was a little bit small, and although you quite like the workshop, it probably wasn't as big as you'd have liked.
So the second house had a much bigger garden and had a lovely workshop.
Yes.
Let's talk about that one.
I was taken with the location. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. There probably wasn't enough room for us. I would have preferred a bigger kitchen. The garden, for me, I think would have challenged my muscles.
Yeah.
It would have been fine for you, I think.
It was a very interesting garden. You know, I was surprised I liked it as much as I did. And of course the workshop just sold it. I mean, you know, if that's all I was buying, then I'd have bought the workshop.
You loved it, didn't you?
I did,
You really,
yeah.
really loved it.
It's really shown me what I know I want, and I know now that I want something that sort of size.
And what about the mystery house? Because this was sort of a curveball.
We've never visited a thatched property before. We've always discounted them. It's thatched, we're not going to go and look at it. And I think now, having done that the once, we won't discount a property just because it's thatched.
But the fact that you wanted a much bigger workshop,
Yep.
and the garden for me, it was just a little bit too small, although very pretty. It wasn't quite what I had in mind.
One of the things I've noticed is you have had, all the way through, this incredibly specific idea of what you want your garden and, I have to say, your kitchen to look like. Do you think that might get in the way of actually finding the property that you want?
I think I'm going to have to be a little bit more open on the garden, but I still would prefer a level garden. I'm just thinking of the next 10 years.
And the prices haven't driven you away from Hampshire?
They haven't driven us away, but it's just highlighted that it's more expensive than we anticipated. And if this is where we want to move, we've just got to bite the bullet and go for it.
And looking at all three properties, is there any one that stands out as a favourite?
For me, obviously, the Quarry House.
For me also, the Quarry House.
And what happens next? You liked it was your favourite, but will you put an offer on?
No.
I don't think we will. I think the accommodation for us probably wasn't what we're looking for.
No, and I would see it very difficult to extend sufficiently the property to provide us what we would need.
So what does happen next?
Well, I think lots more trips away to look at properties.
Good. Well, I hope that we've given you not too bumpy a start in the Hampshire house market, and wherever you end up buying, I wish you all the best, and enjoy your garden, enjoy your workshop.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your help.
It's not the first time that a couple have come a cropper on Hampshire property prices, but I'm convinced that Tony and Rosemary, with their clear vision of what exactly they want, will find their dream property soon enough. And if you'd like to find out what's happening in rural counties elsewhere, then join us next time for more Escape to the Country. If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.